Good afternoon. It is Sunday, December 1st. I normally skip Sundays, but with the discussion that's been going on about this tax holiday and the carbon tax, etc., I'm going to keep this going a little bit. So I'm going to talk more about the carbon tax, why we even have the carbon tax, why it's a terrible idea to get rid of it now, and what we can expect over the next few years. Great comment here. I really don't understand. Why do we have a carbon tax if Europe does not? They kind of do. First up, this tax holiday is happening, and don't worry about it. It's not going to affect anything. We're still going to get another half-point cut in a couple weeks. People were worried that this tax cut would mean no more rate cuts. Oh, we're going to keep getting rate cuts, don't you worry. And now the carbon tax and why it's a bad idea to get rid of the carbon tax now. My biggest beef with the carbon tax is that it is inflationary as we're fighting inflation. And there's just so much bullshit about it being for the climate. It's not. It's not for the climate. You can go check out Canada's greenhouse gas emissions from the Government of Canada. Our emissions are growing at the same rate post-COVID as they did post-Great Financial Collapse. We're doing nothing to stop this. Now, we can all go on about our opinions when it comes to the climate. The climate science says one thing, and I tend to stick with the science. Your opinion might say something else, and that's fine. But let's talk about the carbon tax and whether it has a place in our society right now. Right now, no. Right now, no. Right now, it's just inflationary and doesn't help. But if those tariffs come from the United States, that's a different story. So why do we have a carbon tax? So we can avoid tariffs from Europe. Europe has a carbon border adjustment mechanism. So things coming from countries that do not have some kind of climate plan in place, they get an additional tariff. Why are we paying it instead of the Europeans? Well, just think about this for a second. The way our carbon tax works is that we all pay carbon taxes, and let's face it, corporations are largely exempt. So it's really just people paying carbon taxes. And then it's rebated to people, again, based on their income. Which, by the way, should be the first red flag that this is not about the climate. It's not rebated based on how much carbon output you have. It's rebated based on your income. So you could be a terrible polluter, but have a low income, and you'll get more money out of the carbon rebate than what you pay. But does the carbon tax make sense if the United States is going to impose tariffs upon us? Yes. Yes, it will, because if the U.S. imposes tariffs on us, that means less of our products go into the U.S., which means more of our products have to go to other parts of the world, like Europe. And in that case, it's way better that we have some kind of revolving door tax like we have right now, as opposed to them putting tariffs on our products, which would cost Canadian jobs. And this is why I was critical of Pierre Poilievre, because, he's all about axing the tax, and that's fine. As I said, it's fine up till now. But if we have to deal with tariffs from the U.S., it's a different story. And we got to change the game plan. And boy, that game plan may change a lot. Trump demands commitment from BRICS on using U.S. dollar. Trump has said he wants the U.S. dollar to remain reserve currency. U.S. President-elect reiterates a threat to impose a 100% tariff on BRICS nations. Man, it'd be so helpful if he wasn't illiterate. I'm sorry if you like the guy, but he's not smart. Why does BRICS exist? It exists because the United States has been weaponizing its dollar and its economy. So the BRICS nations are creating an alliance to circumvent the United States. Imposing a 100% tariff on these nations just reinforces what they're doing. And as the United States imposes tariffs on friend and foe alike, everyone will find a common enemy, and it'll be the U.S. Will Europe and other countries join BRICS to avoid the United States and their ridiculous tariffs? Maybe. Now, this is totally hypothetical. Will it happen? I don't know. What are the chances? I don't know. But the problem with BRICS right now is they can't agree on a common currency. Can you imagine if the European Union joins BRICS and they all decide to rely on the euro? And then the euro becomes the reserve currency. Can you imagine? Oh, this carbon tax will have seemed like a brilliant idea if that happens. Could it happen? Will it happen? I don't know, man. But with this guy in the presidency, anything can happen.